Ladies and gentlemen, it is February 28th, 2022, and this is FAWMtalk. I'm, of course, Juha, and with me, as always, my very, very trusty and excellent co-host, Mr. Head First Only, Chris. How you doing?
Hello. How am I doing? I'm doing okay.
You've been posting some songs.
Yeah, I've talked over the last sort of week on my Twitch show because Douglas Adams would have been 70 years old on March the 11th. Douglas Adams, the guy who wrote The Hitchhiker's Guide. And I'm sort of inexorably building up songs on FAWM, and it just got into my head that I should do 42 songs for FAWM this year.
Absolutely.
Because 42 is the answer to life, the universe, and everything. So that's what I'm kind of aiming at. So after this show, I've got 3 songs left to write because that's how I roll.
What was that 42? It's like ask stupid questions, get stupid answers.
Well, it's. I mean, I think Douglas had a brain the size of a planet. So if I remember correctly, it's the ASCII code for the asterisk, which is the wild card that just means everything in ASCII.
Yeah.
But it's also 101010 in binary, which is a really, really satisfying number. But yeah, who knows? But so people piling in on the chat. Good evening to one and all. So who have we got? We've got Alex, we've got Garrett Kirby, we've got Dragon Dreams, we've got Nadine Machado, we've got loads of people. So hello all.
Appropriate enough. It's if you notice the overlay, the sparkles and the party hats and this sort of thing, it actually is the 50th episode of FAWMtalk tonight, coming to you from Finland.
Congratulations, sir. And 50 is quite a significant number over there in Finland, isn't it? I believe.
Well, sure. As it is in every place. I just decided it's gotta be like really, really important, right? I don't know. Yeah, we started doing these back in 2014. Man, that's a while ago. But yeah, done them in 3 years, and TC has been very busy. So I'm very lucky that you agreed to do this with me because this has been a blast.
Yeah, it's been great fun, and I hope all you folks out there watching this on YouTube are enjoying it as well, as much as we are.
Well, that's secondary. It's important that we like this. All right, let's get some music.
Let's do that.
So
what have you got?
Here's one song by Bertie38, and this one's called Returns.
It all felt the same when I slept to my old steps, like I slept in my old bed. Life could regain innocence, present tense. I'm lost in distance, couldn't find my way back here. Broken parts inside, I ran away and lied. My cracks might disappear in time. I'm coming home, 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 I'm coming home,
unrolling my mistakes, finally awake, passing cities I've lived in, chapters forgiven. Am I welcome here?
I'm coming home, 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 coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home,
I'm coming home, but I don't know how long it's been. Frozen crystalline. Are there still ghosts? Will I ever know how my story's told? Carved in stone. I'm coming home. Broken scaffolds of my spirit home. Fixing floors below. And underneath the shattered history, I hope you'll be standing by me. I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home, I'm coming home. I'm coming home, I'm coming home.
Bertie38, it returns. Some wonderful 80 synth sounds and excellent vocal layering.
Yeah, really good. I like the, said in the chat, I like the contrasting between the really, really distorted, very, very EQ'd vocals and the main clean vocals. We have to give a shout out, I think, to our friend Fuzzy over there in the Frozen Wastes, who has been recording several tracks recently with a bullhorn that he apparently asked for his birthday.
Bullhorn?
So, yeah, a bullhorn. So like the little megaphones that the cops use that always feeds back and always makes horrible squonking noises. I know quite a few singer-songwriters, including my friend Laura down here in Bristol, who use them in their live set when the audience is looking a bit sleepy, and it does not wake people up. It's great. Top tip for performing live, kids. Get yourself a bullhorn.
I noticed Dream Theater used those in, what was the song called? It was Just Let Me Breathe. There's a distorted section, I think it's the bridge, where you have distorted vocals, and that's where Labrie uses a bullhorn during the live show. It doesn't exactly sound the same, but it's an effect, right?
Yeah, Alex has already said in the chat, I want one. And same, Alex.
Yes.
Absolutely the same.
Yeah, I should just start talking through one. Just buy one and You go to the
That
kitchen.
can be show number 51. Would just be you feeding back through a bullhorn for an hour.
Oh, for sure. And when I go to
I can just sort of accompany it with incoherent screaming noises.
let's go to the kitchen in the morning. It's like bullhorn and eggs. Give me eggs or give me death.
I need my coffee. Where's my coffee?
Yeah, that's good. Finally good ideas.
I like that. That was a nice track.
Yeah. So it's the last day of FAWM. Time for the big finish. Finish? Where can you find a big finish? Yeah.
I think he's sitting in front of the camera. Rim shot. Yeah. How are we doing for FAWM? How many songs are currently posted? We have, I believe, unless somebody contradicts me in the chat, that we have achieved FAWM escape velocity, because as of right now we've got 11,873 tracks on the FAWM website, which is, I mean, it's gonna be 12,000 tracks, isn't it, within the next couple of hours, I would say, because the rate at which songs are piling in at the moment is astonishing.
Yeah. And we like to be funny in the show, but just to be clear, do not contradict us in the chat. Somebody has collected all the people with the same sort of avatar, and we're making like a competition who has made the most
I
songs.
saw that. That was hilarious. And there must be, I mean, correlation is not causation, kids. Always remember this. But isn't it funny how all the productive avatars were all pictures of guitars or basses?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas yours truly, with his notebook, was right down there at not even in the top 10.
Right down there with the 4-track.
Yeah.
What was it called? Oh my lord! No, I can't find it. Well, let's just start browsing. This is the celebration of 50 FAWM talks. Just browse the.
Yeah, it's
forums.
Fiat's.
Oh yeah, that's the one.
So it's if you want to play for yourself, kids, the web. In fact, I'll just chuck it in the chat. Why don't I just chuck it in the chat? I'm so good to you people. Here you go.
Yeah, you don't.
Wondering what we're talking about.
You
This
don't
is what
deserve
we're
us.
talking about.
Fiat.
So I want to enable that.
Yeah, and of course,
Yeah. So a mandolin came top.
why do you think that was?
Maybe it's just that was the default sort of selection in the avatars. Maybe there's just a lot of people with the mandolin avatar.
Or maybe,
Stylophone in second place.
or maybe, just maybe, it's because a certain Gordon is a mandolin avatarist. It's called an avatarist.
There is that. All it takes is one or two outliers, and your statistics just go completely down the drain. And
That's a
yes,
travesty.
I think, and Gordon does indeed have that avatar, doesn't he? I think
It's like 130 songs. Jeez.
Oh, what? I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, he does indeed have that avatar as his avatar. His is green.
What have you got? So that's 8, 12, 16, 20. Where is the 4
just by himself, he's accounting for 30%.
The 4 track
of the
is
mandolin's total stats.
We're at number 30. 30! And I've made 56 songs. These people are not pulling their weight. Oh my lord.
They're not. They're just absolutely not. So I'm going to count now. So
It's sort of
4, 8, 12,
calling people out here. This is like
16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36th place. It's just not good enough, folks. It's just not good enough, folks.
Yeah, we gotta do better next year.
Yep.
This will become priority number one. Of course, they won't have the same avatars next year. Probably, maybe they will.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
We need to tell Burr that the avatars need to stay in the profile in some form. You should be able to have a team on FAWM.
Like an Easter egg.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just a hidden way of doing it.
Because everybody should have Fiats. I have nothing against Fiats.
Yeah. Garrett says, I think it would be hard to come up with 130 titles. And yeah, this is a good point. I mean, I'm sort of struggling at, what am I on now? 39?
Well, if I were to do it, and I did say that I'm going to top Gordon's number from this year, in 2023. And I'm going to try. 130 songs, it's not that many. I mean, I've barely made music during half the days during February. So it should be okay. It should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, 130 songs is going some for 50/90, and that's 90 days between July the 4th and October the 1st. And if out there you're going, well, it's FAWM's nearly over and I don't want to stop, then I would point out that there are a large number of other activities. There's the Song Fight group in Facebook. There's the 50/90, the prequel Facebook group, where we basically do another 50 songs in the 90 days between the beginning of 50/90, and it sort of works out. I think it's something like April. I could be wrong. I did that last year and only did 31 songs, but that was another 31 songs that I got written, and a couple of them I was actually quite pleased with. And then 50/90 starts, as I said, on the 4th of July.
We paste the Discord link in the chat, and this one is for album workshop. We were talking about this on the forum.
Yes, you were talking about this.
Something where we can take the songs that we've written and try to make them into an actual album. So the Discord server is about giving feedback, like honest and helpful feedback, sharing resources, sharing experiences, listening to other people's project files, this sort of thing, and just trying to tackle the marketing, the production, and the release of an album in whatever form you want, like maybe physical CDs, maybe Bandcamp, maybe Spotify, iTunes, this sort of thing. So feel free to join. We currently have, 8 people? No, 7. So it's small, but hey, FAWM started with 4 people, so definitely.
Yeah. Ben says, has Juha's voice gone funny again? And yeah, you've dropped an octave, mate. I think your voice meter is doing its normal thing. Dragon Dream says he's gargling with Brasso.
All right, hold on. Let's see if we can. And we're back. Is it better?
Yay! With a normal voice. Excellent. Well done.
Wonderful. Your audio setup is causing echo. No, it's not. Is it?
No, it was me going yay, I think. Because it somehow picked up on your signal, because I heard myself, and I'm not causing echo because I've got my headphones on.
This is really strange. Oh well, the important thing is that it's all better now. It's because I started Discord. I had Discord closed and I opened it, and it somehow did something with the audio drivers. Anyway, let's listen to some music. We have a wonderful vocal track here by Ken Matson. And this one is called The Witness.
Take heed as you depart. Be wary as you pass the knoll. Stay safe and be pure of heart. The witness sees into your soul. Many a traveler's passed that way. Be wary as you pass the knoll. And many still rue the day. The witness sees into your soul. It's said, beware what you desire. Be wary as you pass the knoll. As desire leads you to the mire, the witness sees into your soul. You cannot hide your deepest thoughts. Be wary as you pass the knoll, and forces you to cast lots. The witness sees into your soul. A young man haughty, full of pride, be wary as you pass the knoll. Thought himself too good and often lied. The witness sees into your soul. With schemes aplenty in his mind, be wary as you pass the knoll, and plans of riches most inclined. The witness sees into your soul. He didn't heed his elder's word. Be wary as you pass the knoll, and all the warnings did he spurn. The witness sees into your soul. A shadowy figure did appear. Be wary as you pass the knoll, at the crossroad filling him with fear. The witness sees into your soul. His feet were stuck into the ground. Be wary as you pass the knoll, and from his throat came not a sound. The witness sees into your soul. He could not hide his devilish ways. Be wary as you pass the knoll. His mind at once felt ablaze. The witness sees into your soul. To the heavens now was shown. Be wary as you pass the knoll. His evil countenance made known. The witness sees into your soul. Across the land the scream was heard. Be wary as you pass the knoll. The lad exposed in thought and word. The witness sees into your soul. From then onward he could not speak. Be wary as you pass the knoll, and left his body pale and weak. The witness sees into your soul. Take heed as you depart. Be wary as you pass the knoll. Stay safe and be pure of heart. The witness sees into your soul.
The Witness by Ken Matson. It's a wonderful traditional ghost ballad.
Absolutely splendid stuff. And Dragon Dreams very helpfully pointed out that he thinks that strange note is a borrowed tritone.
Well, I don't think it's tritone. It's if the tonic is like da, then you'd go to da. So it's seventh, I think.
Okay, yeah, because tritones are da da, isn't it? It's up rather than down. So
well, it's both. Like it's the equal distance to up and down.
Right. Okay. So right. Okay. So it's not just the Simpsons theme tune.
But it does sound fun. But yeah, it has the same sort of tonality, for sure.
Yeah, and lots of discussion in the chat about hobbits and witches because it's got that sort of mythic quality to it.
Yeah.
Don't go past the knoll. That's where the elves live. And they'll take you away, and you'll never, ever, ever see them again.
So I wonder, like, what is the? Because the only thing I can think of is something from, like, the Middle Ages, but something that was sang in cathedrals or something. But like, what is the? Is there a more specific note to what the style of that piece was?
I'm hoping somebody in the chat knows, because
Yeah.
it's very bardic. It's something that a bard would, and maybe that. I mean, you going back to the King John and all the rest. Just as telling stories through song has got, you know, a tradition that goes back centuries. So there you go. Bards aren't just a character or a character class in Dungeons and Dragons, folks. They really were things.
Yeah, bard is definitely the.
You could earn a living being a bard back in the day.
And nowadays.
Oh, how things have changed.
Now you only earn a living with bard cards. Get your bard cards today. I don't actually even have my. Where's my?
I
deck?
set them up, and Juha knocks them down. Have you got a pack there?
I have one over there, but I can't
Okay.
reach it. Let me. The game crafter. It's So if you don't know, I made these cards. It's a deck of cards, prompt cards, for writing songs. But I gotta sign in, so I can drop you a link, because I can't remember. This is very good. It's almost like we planned this.
Absolutely. So there are a number of other inspirational media are available. So I've got a couple. While Juha's finding his, which are of course the ones that you really should buy.
Yeah.
Then I'll talk about a couple that I've got here.
While I'm finding my product, Chris talks about the competition.
They're not as good. So, story cubes. There we go. That is, they're basically dice with pictures on them, with aeroplanes and bolts of lightning and sheep and parachutes and things. And you roll the cubes and you make a story out of the pictures that are on the top surface of the dice when they land. And the other ones, because Brian Eno is my spirit animal, I do actually possess an official pack of the Oblique Strategies cards. But those are mainly obscure and slightly obtuse. And when you're trying to bed the bass guitar into a mix, having the advice from the blessed Eno of, if you've got a decision, do both things, isn't really gonna help you much. Just saying, Brian.
Was just Ben was saying on the chat, like Bart Simpson. It's Bart Simpson playing those tritones. Yeah, but Bart cards was Pearl Manhattan and I were talking about in the Slack one year, and based on the D20, the FAWM RPG thing, the game on the forum, I decided to make it a little card game. It's not really a game, but you can make a game out of those if you want to have some sort of randomized ideas for your songwriting. They are definitely fun, and I've been told by many people who have bought the cards that they are very, very good and excellent and help people a lot when they feel a little bit stuck. But yeah, I've dropped the price so low that I basically what I get when somebody buys a deck is I get like a cup of rice, and that's that's my reward.
You could have yarrow stalks rather than rice, and then you could work those in and you could sort of add the I Ching to your cards, give it another dimension. So you could start throwing hexagrams.
Yes.
Dragon, and we've set Dragon Dreams off. I use tarot cards as an inspiration, says Dragon Dreams. Not as fortune telling thing. I just like the pictures.
Oh yeah. Oh, I use pictures sometimes. I mainly just go to Pinterest and type in something, and then just keep browsing and click something and browse and click something and just keep. It's a rabbit hole. But
Yep. Keep scrolling. Scroll.
yeah, and you get eventually you find something that just makes you go like, this needs to sound like this.
It's an interesting approach, though, that you are one of those people who can go, that picture sounds like X.
Well,
And I can't do that. It's like, is it synesthesia? Is it that sort of aspect of things? I've got people who go, yeah, that note's brown. Or you sing them a C minor chord and you go, yeah, that's yellow. And it's like, what?
that is actually.
But that is a thing.
Yeah, a long time ago I bought this course. I saw this on one of those guitar magazines, and every one of those magazines had this course, and it's the perfect pitch course. And it's a bunch of CDs, and I went to the website and I ordered it. And what the guy in the guy on the CDs keeps telling me is that, yeah, you start to hear the tonality of a single note. When you play a note, you clearly start to hear it just sounds different from every other note. It has a certain type of mood or color or something like
Feel.
that.
Yeah, I do get that. That's interesting. And because we were saying when we were talking to Sean on Saturday's show, he sent me a bunch of lyrics from Mrs. B's third grade class, and when I was mocking up the song, I just got a drum beat going, was singing just into this microphone with no accompaniment or thought about tuning or anything else. And then when I started adding the guitars and the synthesizers to the track, it's like, oh, I was exactly on A minor throughout all my vocals. How did that work? Because I don't have perfect pitch as far as I know, but maybe it's that it's finding the feel of the note
Yeah.
that
Could be.
that leads you towards perfect pitch. If so, that's not something that I've ever been aware of until this year.
Yeah, the course was very much just, well, I never finished it, but it was very much just, you just play a couple of notes, not like all the notes on the guitar or something. Just play like one note, maybe another note, and you just try to feel them, just sit with them and let your ears like eat them up, and not trying to force anything. And yeah, the guy says that he never had perfect pitch, and when he figured it out, he actually developed a perfect pitch. So
Wow.
I guess it's possible.
Right. That might be something I need to work on personally, I think.
Yeah, I don't
Appeals to me.
know. I can't even summon the gumption to figure out relative pitch, much less to just sit around playing notes. Yeah, my relative pitch is awful. I just can't. It's so boring practicing those things. Whenever I start, and I've started many times, but I just can't bring myself to practice that stuff. It is so insanely boring. And I've done theory. I've done these. I don't know what they're called in English, but like these courses where you have to do the rhythm things, like you sing the rhythm, and that's okay. That's fun and cool. But then you have to sing the melodies. They give you a piece of notation, and you have to sing the notation. and I couldn't do it. I repeated the test for each test. I repeated like 3, 4, 5 times, and I'm pretty sure the teacher then just let me pass out of pity. But
Oh dear.
that's been a huge obstacle for me in music. But I don't know. I like music anyway, so it hasn't stopped
So-
me.
I think the examinations, the equivalent in the UK, I don't know about the rest of the, well, we're not in the European Union anymore, are we? But okay, I don't know about the rest of the world. But in the UK, we call them grades. You start at grade 1 piano and you work up, and then the highest grade is grade 8 in a musical instrument.
Okay.
But those, it sounds like the grade examinations sound very similar to what you described. So I would imagine that's kind of what they are. So, we've got both Ken Matson and Sven Schultz have arrived and Kate Stanton as well. So hello all.
Hello. Yeah. When I started, I was 8 when I started piano, and it was classical piano, and I just found that too. I just found it incredibly boring. I never got into classical music, but once you start doing it and you've done it for a couple of years, then they put you to theory classes. And how it works in Finland is you do 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, and then 3 out of 3 theory classes or courses. And when you have the 3 theory course, then that's, I guess, like the highest of the basic ones. But each one is accompanied by those singing tests. You have to sing. It's called like säveltapailu, which is like. I don't even know. Yeah, how would I translate that? But yeah, you just have to sing the notes on the paper, and that's horrible, awful,
Yeah,
traumatizing.
couldn't do that. I used to be able to sight read, but these days it's like, all right, FACE, and if there's key signature in the staff at the left, it's like. But the thing, now that I'm old and grumpy and a bit of a curmudgeon, I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
And you don't have to know or be able to sight read or know what the names of the notes are to make music. One of the greatest bass players I have ever heard is the late lamented Mick Kahn, who played fretless bass for Japan and sadly passed away over a decade ago. And what he did on the bass, I mean, you listen to a Japan track and it's the bass guitar on that will just take over your attention. What he did was just uncanny and unlike any other bass player. And when Japan quite reasonably became very successful and popular, and the music papers started, or the music magazines, the instrument magazines like Bass Player magazine and Guitar Player started interviewing him, he would just go, they'd say, okay, when you play that particular, and give him this sort of terminology, he'd just go, I don't know what that means. I just sort of play what I feel like. And he had no musical theory at all and no interest in developing musical theory because it was all in here and all in his fingers.
Yeah, that's the same
Quite
way.
extraordinary player.
I guess the most known example must be Jimi Hendrix, who just couldn't read notation at all. And
Really?
then you have people like Richie Blackmore, who is, of course, a session musician. Has very interesting. One of the best examples, I think, is Gates of Babylon, the Rainbow song. That one has the most weird chord progression in the guitar solo. This keeps going like da 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 da.
Well, he uses a lot of Middle Eastern scales and modes of playing in his compositions. He always has done.
Sure, but like I once asked, like, what the at the Finnish musician forum, Musiikkoiden.net, I asked what the idea is behind the chord progression of that of that solo, because there's like nothing repeats. I had no idea. I was trying to improvise something on top of it, and typically it is that you have one solo that goes in one key, or maybe two keys just alternate. But there was nothing, but it still sounds very coherent. It sounds like there's an idea behind it, but I just couldn't figure out what the idea was.
Yeah. Richie, it was still is, I guess, a law unto himself. The last time I saw Mr. Blackmore on stage was about 15 years ago at Cheltenham Town Hall, when he was dressed in doublet and hose and had a bard's cap on and was playing the hurdy-gurdy in his wife's band Blackmore's Night.
Yeah.
But he did get the white strat out for the encore,
Oh.
which was what I think 95% of the audience were actually there for.
I don't know. There was a
Born
time
just
when
born just down the road from me in Western Supermare. I nearly said Western Supermarket. Western Supermare, which is a coastal town just south of Bristol, here in the southwest of England. And when Richie's missus, who is very Californian, was saying, "Oh, Cheltenham, you're really the home of rock and roll. You're the best part of rock and roll in the whole of the southwest." And I was in the front row, and I could actually hear Richie go, "No, it's not. That's Western. That's where I'm from."
Oh, that guy.
Brilliant.
Yeah, well, there was a
Richie,
time when I used to actually listen to Blackmore's Night. I quite enjoy it, but it hasn't been. It's been a long while. It's different. And out of his projects, I think Rainbow must be the one that I've most associate with.
Absolutely, for sure. I mean, that original, the Jimmy Bain, Cozy Powell, and Ronnie James Dio on vocals, that lineup was lightning in a bottle.
Yeah.
It absolutely. Rainbow Rising, with a painting on the cover by Ken Kelly. I studied the sleeve of that in the most minute detail. Ken Kelly actually also, did you know this? Ken Kelly was also the painter who painted the covers of Kiss's albums Destroyer and Love Gun. So the guy who painted those two Kiss albums was the guy who had the hand coming out of the sea holding the rainbow on Rainbow Rising. That album, basically when I was a kid and we went to sort of youth clubs back in the days when we were allowed to play our records at the youth clubs, the two albums that got played just to the exclusion of everything else was Rainbow Rising and Sabbath Bloody Sabbath by Black Sabbath.
Yeah, that's something.
Classic albums.
I think they used to play. Wasn't it the World Cup or like the World Series ice hockey when the teams would come to the ice in, I think it was in Helsinki or somewhere. They used to play Tired Woman when they entered the ice. It has a cool intro.
Also tends to get used a lot as the sort of battle riff in the original Star Trek series. If you listen to, I'm not sure if it was one of Alexander Courage's pieces of music, because Star Trek had a couple of composers that basically just got dropped in for like 2 episodes and wrote these iconic themes that were then used in Star Trek in perpetuity, and that is one of them. And yeah, so when Richie starts playing that riff in Tarot Woman, it's like, you've been watching Star Trek.
Yeah. We used to play when I was wasn't it in high school or no after that. What's it called? It's like gymnasium. I always mix this up. Gymnasium and no. It's like what comes after high school. So I was like
University.
No. I got look this up because I don't think it has a good gymnasium. It is gymnasium. Yeah, it doesn't have like a good translation, but I was like 17, 18, and we had a band in the music class we used to play with. There was a great bass player, and then I was playing drums, and then there was a third guy. There was no guitar player. There was just the accordion player. And he was the most incredible accordion player I've ever seen. He played all the guitar parts, all the synth parts, and he played the guitar solos with the accordion, and he played the synth solos with the accordion, and we just played Deep Purple.
On the accordion.
Yeah.
I need to see recordings of this.
And it was, way back. But yeah, we played like Fireball. What's it called? Highway Star.
Yeah.
Black Knight.
Referenced in one of the songs that I wrote
Oh,
yesterday for February album writing month. And somebody has already picked up and commented on the fact that I dropped a nod to Ritchie and Deep Purple in the song lyrics, if not in my guitar playing, because not going to happen.
But there were a lot of guys who
not capable of playing like Ritchie.
There was a lot of guys who were really into Deep Purple when I was growing up, but I don't know. I never really got into that band. I just played the drums because everybody else wanted to play that music.
Ian Pace. Yes. For those of you watching who might not be a sort of old enough to remember Deep Purple or Smoke on the Water, so Smoke on the Water had a very, very strange sort of genesis that had nothing to do with the band. Is that Deep Purple went to Montreux in Switzerland, home of the Jazz Festival, to record their album. They were going to record it at the casino in Montreux and had actually rented the Rolling Stones' mobile recording studio, which was parked outside. But the casino was also a live venue. And on one particular night in between Deep Purple recording their stuff, Frank Zappa and the Mothers turned up in town. And they played the casino. And in Ian Gillan's words, some stupid with a flare gun basically was letting off fireworks inside the casino. And he set the place on fire and it burnt to the ground. And the record producer, Claude Nobbs, also known as Funky Claude, who passed away, I think, only last year or the year before, was literally running backwards and forwards, pulling kids out of the windows. And just the place disintegrated, and so they had to record pretty much ad hoc rather than using the casino. But that song, or the song that they wrote about that experience, in the UK and in certain places in the United States and Canada, if you go into a guitar shop and you pick up a guitar and start playing Smoke on the Water, you will at very least get rude stares from the staff. And in some shops, you will actually be fined for playing the riff from Smoke on the Water, which is the dun, dun, dun. DMCA be damned. Go on, give them the riff.
Yeah, but oftentimes people play it wrong. They play a whole like power chord, but what you should do is just play the fifth and the.
Yeah, he only plays two notes.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one. So guitar shops, the two pieces of music that you do not play in a guitar shop are Smoke on the Water and the opening bit of Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin.
Yeah.
Still, to this day.
Did they actually in Wayne's World? I have no idea what he's playing, but that's definitely not Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, probably for copyright reasons, but yeah, the shot like points to the sign that just says no stairway.
Yeah.
That is a silly film.
Like, yeah. I don't think they ever. I mean, I've heard those songs in some films, but for the longest time they just didn't sell the rights to anybody. Absolutely
Right.
nobody. But yeah, Wayne's World, what a crazy film. It's just born out of a sketch, Saturday Night Live sketch, and it's one of my favorite movies. I don't know how that happened, because that's
Yep.
not usual.
And I remember actually going to the cinema with my wife at the time when the second one came out, and her favourite film was Terminator 2. The bit in Wayne's World 2 where they get stopped by the traffic cop, and as soon as the cop got off the bike, it was like, that guy's walking like Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
And I nudged my wife, and she nudged me back. And of course, it is Robert Patrick. He goes, "Have you seen this boy?" And they both go, "Ah!" Best cinema joke ever. No contest.
It's crazy, and it's such a fun. I watched some sort of documentary about that film, and it's so like the whole crew. They just wanted to make something lighthearted and fun. And how many I love those sort of movies where you don't even try to do anything dramatic. You just try to do something that's fun to both make and to watch. And I respect that.
So while we're on the subject of music, movies, and things like that, I mean, so Alice Cooper shows up in Wayne's World and just is Alice. Have you seen the film Airheads at all? Brendan Fraser
Oh no.
and a bunch of others. I would recommend. So if you like Wayne's World, I would recommend tracking down Airheads. And it does also feature a little cameo appearance by a former acquaintance of mine, certain Mr. Ian Fraser Kilmister, also known as Lemmy. I also have, here's another one for you, which, while we're on the subject of Alice Cooper, there is a very, very bizarre vampire movie called Suck. And Alice is in that, as is Moby, as is in Malcolm McDowell, as is Henry Rollins. And it's basically, I think was it Jessica Paré, who was in she was in Streets of Fire, I think, which was the just really, really bizarre music film. But yeah, she basically, it's like this vampire. She becomes a vampire, and this no hope sort of Z-list touring heavy metal band suddenly become charismatic because they've all become vampires and they start getting following. And Malcolm McDowell is basically some distant relative of Van Helsing who's going, they're the undead.
Oh, good.
It's very funny.
Oh, good.
And this is their sort of mentor at the bar where they all sort of go to contemplate life.
This is welcome to movie talk. This is the 50th episode.
I do tend to get rather enthusiastic about movies. I do love
Oh,
movies.
so do I. Absolutely. We gotta do another hour and just talk about movies. Who's up for that? Let's listen to some music first, right?
Let's do that. What have you got for us?
It's one by Raspberry 33, and the song is called Just Be My Maggie May.
Things happen for so many reasons when the season is right. Though the vessel appears half empty, this could be our night. Call it kismet or call it karma. Who cares if anyone knows? I'm grateful for every favor that brought us oh so close. So just be my Maggie May. Give me a kiss, be my Maggie May, and I'll wake you gently. Maybe this will work, and maybe it won't. It's now the time to question why. As answers diminish to whispers, let's make time for a contented sigh. So just be my Maggie May. Give me a kiss, be my Maggie May, and I'll promise to wake you gently. Role reversal, an obvious twist, but I'm happy wherever love can exist. In a world where differences don't have to get in the way. You know, things happen for whatever reason. Spring meets summer for an awesome season. Maybe it will work out. And you know, maybe it won't. So just be my Maggie May. Give me a kiss. Be my Maggie May. And I'll promise to wake you gently. Just be my Maggie May. Wake up and give me a kiss. Be my Maggie May on the abyss between survival and delight.
Just Be My Maggie May by Raspberry 33.
That wasn't long enough. I was just getting into that.
Yeah.
I want another couple of verses of that, please, and repeat choruses on the end too, and an extended instrumental break because the instrumentation, the arrangement on that, chef's kiss.
That was wrong. Longer.
Really, really nice. Really, really nice on that.
God, it's weird because I don't really have a lot to say about that song. But it's got that atmosphere. You just like fall into it. It's like satin sheets.
I've forgotten who it was, but somebody said that the magic. It's probably Neil Gaiman because it usually is. The magic of books is that you can be transported into somebody else's world, and it doesn't require any effort. You're just staring at marks on pieces of paper, and suddenly you're in a different world. And songs, good production, good writing, good lyrics, good playing, do exactly the same sort of thing for me. And I was just there, and it's like, what? Oh, okay. Can we have that again, please?
Oh, let's play it again. So here is. Oh no. So we're gonna listen to it after the show.
No, I'm taking notes. And I mean, if you're watching these shows, I do on my blog. I embed all the previous episodes and put little lists of what we played on as well. Haven't done the last couple because I'm busy, but I will be doing that on my blog. So the Headfirst Only blog.
So let's go back to we were talking a little bit about how do you write 130 songs, and
how do you write 130? I would love to know.
I was thinking about somebody was mentioning that it's hard to like, make up 130 titles for songs. But I think if I were to do 130 songs, I might even start with the titles. Just take a couple of hours and just write 200 titles and then pick the 130 best ones, the ones that inspire me in some way. I think I did this with my synthwave album. I came up with like 40 titles or so, and then I picked 14, and I started to write the music based on the titles. So that's one idea.
And, strangely enough, Jeff Tweedy's book, Write One Song, How to Write One Song, is his recommended way of doing it. One of the things that he does is think of adjectives and nouns that are related to whatever your theme is or your concept. God forbid that you should do a concept album. Do people do those anymore? But if you've got a concept like outer space or cats or food or dessert, then sit down, come up with a massive list of adjectives, of nouns, of things that then those words. Do you ever do kids play sort of the word association games like they do in psychology in Finland? Or because in the UK that was one of the things that we were taught at school. Somebody had to say a word, and then they went around the class, and the next kid had to say a word that was related to that first word, but wasn't the same word.
I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe.
And I always because I just used to sort of eat dictionaries as a small child. I would always disrupt the progress of the game by just coming up with a word that none of the other kids had heard of. So, please, miss, we don't know what Chris just said.
Show off. Yeah, but when I wrote the synthwave album, the idea was to do something like 80s, 90s type of thing, and the titles were like the first song is called Omni Christ Deluxe, which just sounded to me like over the top and retro in weird ways. Second song is
sounds like it might have been a KM FDM album.
Yeah, maybe.
It's got that vibe to it, hasn't it?
It's one as Hard Knuckle.
Somebody with vocals sounding like this.
Hard Knuckle is it's a power up in Mega Man 3, so that's where I get that from. Then the third one is
that is splendidly nerdy. So.
Ultra Nightmare. Guess what game that's from? You might even know this.
No.
It's a difficulty setting in Doom.
Oh, right.
This
okay.
This is a difficulty Ultra Nightmare. There's Nightmare. There's like easy, hard, Nightmare, and then Ultra Nightmare. So yeah,
that's where you have to get through the entire level with nothing but a chainsaw.
And it's something like the enemies come back to life after a while, so you can never destroy all of them. Then we got Terminal Velocity, which is many things, but it's also a video game.
I used to have that. In fact, that was the video game that inspired me to buy a Microsoft Sidewinder joystick back in the day.
Hey, there you go. Then we got Chromaticity, which is I was on Wikipedia. There was this sort of there was a term called chromaticity, which is some sort of color quality, I think. I was like, that sounds cool. Let's change it to Chrome, and that's a song name. And the synthetic alloy. Speaking of Terminator 2.
Oh yeah.
Synthetic alloy. And so all the song names are. I just came up with a list of interesting sounding things, and yeah.
And it's funny how, I mean, even quite successful bands will start finding titles and stuff. So William Gibson has been a huge fan of Steely Dan for decades, and would actually work occasional Dan references into his novels, his science fiction novels. And the last Dan album has a track called Pixeline, which is basically the Dan being William Gibson and just writing a song as if the band were William Gibson. So it's all about this cool kid who's a sort of message courier with a no hope boyfriend and everything like that. And it's full circle. Is William Gibson was inspired by the band, and then the band were inspired by William Gibson. I just love the idea of that.
There, guys, no. As you say, Michael Caine, it sounds like Michael Caine saying his own name. Hi, I'm Michael Caine. Oh, yeah, it kind of does.
I love the fact, UK people will know this, but Michael Caine in the UK has a catchphrase, and it's not "my name is Michael Caine." It is. Not a lot of people know that. And the hilarious thing is that catchphrase wasn't one of Michael Caine's, because he actually got Peter Sellers, Inspector Clouseau, one of the goons, to record his answering machine message. And Peter Sellers would pretend to be Michael Caine and record Michael Caine's answering machine message, the outgoing message, and would always finish it with a little random fact and then go, not a lot of people know that. So it wasn't Michael Caine at all, it was Peter Sellers. Brilliant.
Oh my lord. Finally some useful information is showed us.
Pearl Manhattan over on Slack was saying, is FAWMtalk going well? I can't watch it from work. And I said, we're getting sidetracked a lot.
It's that time of the month.
Yeah, no surprises there.
And there's just
DJ Kenneth A saying, not to sidetrack you any further, lol.
Well,
we're just lost cause at this point. It's the last day of FAWM, folks. You should have your 14 songs done and dusted.
If you sidetrack yourself 4 times, then you're back on track. I think that's how it works.
That's for a given 90-degree quality sidetrack. I think we get sidetracked so much we're into like doing 720s, man. It's just not a pretty sight. You end up going back up the hill that you've just skied down.
We're definitely going uphill.
Oh dear.
Yeah, but I am going to. This is like, I just have to see what number Gordon ends up at, and then I'm gonna try to top that next year. Like that 140, whatever it is.
I mean, we've been on air for over an hour now. He's bound to have done more.
Yeah. But what else? What would be your best tip to writing 140 songs?
I think you've got to have a system. Like you were saying, you've got to have some form of system. So you've got to have some sort of machinery for generating content. And yeah, we're back to the Blessedino again, please, because this is very much what Brian's approach to music is. A lot of the stuff that he does and things like the Bloom track that you can get for your phone that he did with Peter Schwalm, you can create multiple permutations of a very limited amount of components. So, I mean, the thing that I love, many things I love about the Blessedino, but he's been very active in promoting long-term thinking. So there is a foundation which is called the Foundation of the Long Now, and basically Brian sort of got thinking about this with a few other people back in the day of the Millennium Bug, when the flip over from the year 1999 to the year 2000 was going to create lots of problems for programmers who'd only bothered to use 2 digits to store the year in the dates. And of course, when the clock ticked over at midnight on New Year's Eve in 1999 to the year 2000, the thought was that a lot of systems that had programs that only used 2 digits for storing years were going to cause loads of problems, and planes were going to drop out of the sky. And thanks to a really, really well coordinated and promoted awareness campaign, that didn't happen because the problems were identified and fixed well in advance. It is people complain about it, but that was one of the greatest success stories in the history of computing, that nothing bad happened at the turn of the millennium. But Brian and his mates basically said, well, look, even 4 digits is kind of short-termism. If we're looking at continuing to exist on a planet with limited resources, we should be looking much more long-term. So the Long Now Foundation is basically about looking at time in the longer game, and so that rather than this being 2022, it's 02022. So as part of this initiative, the Long Now came up with the idea of building this clock, the clock of the Long Now. Right. There is a point to this story, and it is relevant to what you were saying.
Speaking of long-term thinking.
Eno got involved in the design of this clock of the Long Now. Right? And clocks being clocks, they chime. They chime once every hour. So what Brian then set about doing was constructing a system where the clock would chime every hour, and every chime would be different. And it would be different for more than 20,000 years. That's the level of reliability that they want to build into this clock. And there's a first draft of the clock in the Science Museum in London. The final version of it is in some mountain somewhere in California, I believe. But the clock chimes differently every hour, and on significant dates or years and everything, it does a fancier chime. And Brian, being Brian, sat down and wrote a whole bunch of computer programs to generate automatically enough different clock chimes for this clock to not repeat itself for more than 20,000 years. And there is actually a Brian Eno album, and I have a copy, of course I do, because Brian Eno, called Bell Studies for the Clock of the Long Now, which is him making an album of a selection of that clock's greatest hits played with different bell patches on a Yamaha DX7, because Eno was all about the Yamaha DX7. It's a beautiful album. It's very, very restful. But there you go. From writing 150 songs to writing enough chimes to keep a clock going without repeating itself for 20,000 years. It's all about levels of thinking and systems. Does that answer your question? Can you remember what your question was?
Well, yeah.
Does anybody care?
I'm trying to find the takeaway from that story.
I think that other than, and there are some people out there in FAWM who have been doing this, who compose algorithmically,
Yeah.
and write a little computer program. And Nadine says, well, use the 3-chord trick with different instruments. That is a very basic but totally valid way of doing it.
Well, sure. I don't think there are invalid ways. I don't think that's for me. Because I could just there are probably computer programs that could just give me like song data. I don't think Gordon does that. I don't think he just used some sort of algorithm to write his songs for him.
No, but I think his system will be more in the lines of being open to any experience that he has during the day
Yeah.
becoming a song. So I mean, I'm gonna go over to Gordon's profile.
You know, we should have
just
him
to see.
in the show as a guest.
Strangely enough,
Is he
strangely enough,
over 130 already?
yeah. No, shall we? Right, there we go. He's up to 130. So if you look at his titles, I mean, Sky as Deep as the Ocean is number 130. Cheers and Flags Are Raised is 129. It's Happening Today. I Never Saw It Coming. Phase 1 completed with Sapient. I Cut Myself Open for You. Let's Try Again. Low Flying Planes. People Hurt People. Hurt People Hurt People. Now It's Almost Over. A Sense of Wonder. If Every Day Was the Same. It's Not Easy Being Me. And they're all very, very simple. In some cases, colloquialisms, almost cliches that get spoken in news reports. You know, stand up strong, walking through a hostile desert, I can dream about you. Well, maybe that's not newsworthy. Early morning peace, take each day as it comes. Why do people say it's complicated? Great title.
Yeah.
You know, so it's turn on the radio, you know, the first sentence that you hear in its entirety on the radio channel that your radio is turned to, that's the title of your song. Do it that way. That could be really, really interesting.
It could.
Doing that. That I might even try that next 5090. I'll do a series of radio specials where I just literally turn on Radio 4 in the morning, and the first complete sentence I'll write down, and that will be my title for the song for the day.
Yeah.
That'll do it.
Yeah.
That'll do it. That'll get there's a productive tip for you.
Yeah. It's a good tip. I'm not saying that. It's just it doesn't feel like no. It's but that's the good idea here is that you should take something from your life, and I think that will make it easier to write because you have some sort of take on the thing that you're writing.
Yeah. And it is that take that's the important bit, that the sentence, the title is just a stepping off point. It's going to be your character and your memories and your emotions and your thoughts and your preoccupations and your obsessions, if you're me, that will shape where that song goes as a result of you starting to write it.
Yeah. Yes. I think also
That went really deep, didn't it? That was good.
I think also one thing that I have to do is just stay in my comfort zone, because writing 150 songs or something, it's already pretty out there outside the comfort zone. So the rest of the project should very much be in the comfort zone. So
I get that, but if you totally stay in your comfort zone, then it becomes much, much easier to repeat yourself, surely. Or am I thinking too much into that?
Maybe. I don't know.
130 songs. I'm still trying to process it. That's.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like how would I? Well, the easiest probably would be to just write solo piano pieces, because you don't need lyrics, you don't need multi-tracking. But that's kind of, I don't know. It starts to feel boring. Maybe I'll do a few piano. Maybe I'll do a few just like rock, heavy metal type of things, because those are. If I have a template for the drums, the bass, the guitars, it's very quick to just do those things. You do one verse and you just copy that there and copy that there. And the ideas for those songs, they keep coming like that. Just like, oh, this could be a thing. This could be a thing. And what I usually end up doing is I put like 17 different ideas in one song, and just do 17 songs.
Yeah, pace yourself. But and so a lot of just do variations on 4 minutes 33 seconds, says DJ Kenneth A. 3 minutes 50.
There is an artist.
Again, we've talked about the Cage Estate, and they will hunt you down. They have a very specific set of skills.
They will
believe
close
me.
FAWM down.
Yeah. But I mean, a lot of Gordon stuff, Dirtbag stuff on February Album Writing Month is very much just his voice, his vocal style, which is very distinctive, and I love it to bits. Plus, just minimalist in a lot of cases, guitar or keyboards, or collaborations with Sapient, where it can be, and you're all thinking, yeah, Sapient, metal and everything else. If you listen to what Gordon does with Sapient outside of FAWM, they have a project called Bridge 11, which is space rock, and it's science songs, and they've released 2 albums now. They are well worth getting. They're on Bandcamp. Just search for Bridge 11 on Bandcamp. And yeah, if anyone can sing about the awesome power of the sun's chromosphere, then it's Gordon. And it just makes it profound and overwhelmingly significant. And doing it with very, very little musical backing. It's just the concepts, it's the ideas, it's the words that he's getting into your head. He's dropping you into a different world.
Yeah. I don't know. It's now I'm starting to think like, well, maybe I shouldn't have a plan. What I should have is a limitation, like time limit on each song. I can just do a bunch of skirmishes, right? So if I start to, because how many songs is that per week? So let's say 130. So that's over 33. Is it 32, 33 songs per week?
Yeah, it'd be something like that, wouldn't it? You can do it.
So it's
press my I have a calculator button on my keyboard. How
five songs a day, give or take. So you keep on
4.6428571428578. Oh, that's going to repeat, isn't it? It's a seventh of something. Yeah, 4.7 songs a day.
Yeah. It's not impossible. It's just.
Well, it's clearly not impossible because we have a gentleman who's done it. But
yeah, but what I'm thinking of is if I started to do some sort of rock tracks with guitar, bass, drums, vocals.
Yeah, that's gonna start getting complicated.
Yes,
it's the simplicity that's working for his songs, I think.
Sure, but I think if I'm just keeping myself doing simple songs, I'm gonna lose my motivation. I just don't want to do it anymore. Because that's the problem I have with this FAWM. I made 56 songs, 54 of which are for the soundtrack, and I don't really like any of them. They're all right, and they work for the game. They're fine for the game, and somebody has to do it, so I made them. But it's not like I'm gonna listen to that music. I have no interest in listening to any of those tracks. It's just that they work for the game. But I'm also feeling like I really don't want to make another one. So if I'm trying to keep it simple, Sure, there are simple songs that I like that I made, but am I going to be able to make over 100 of those? I don't know. I feel like if I'm trying to push it, then I'm just starting to feel like, whatever. But
I think it's going to be your own impatience with yourself that is going to be the biggest hurdle that you've got to jump over.
what do you mean?
It is like saying that you find yourself after the 50th track that is just guitar and your vocals and maybe a bit of drums. You're going, I don't want to do any more of these, and it's trying to suspend that frustration of
I think one of the limitations has to be no second takes.
okay.
So there are very much, you have to, when you're doing a lot of songs, you have to just accept that these are just going to be sketches, very basic demos, just to get the idea down. So that means no second takes.
For contrasting viewpoints here, kids, I would point out the fact that on one of the guitar solos of one of my early tracks on FAWM this year, I kept on redoing it because I wasn't happy with it, and the eventual take that I used on the track was take number 132. Because I clearly do not know when to say that's enough. Whereas Juha is sensible and goes, no second takes, no second chances.
Yeah, and that's probably gonna go and bite me in the. But I don't know. I'd probably do second takes, but it's like when you have a mindset that this needs to sound good, then you just keep on pushing and keep on. Like this take didn't go exactly as I wanted. Whereas if there are a couple of mistakes, who cares? It doesn't have to sound like impeccable during FAWM. It just needs to sound like, well, I can hear the song he was going for.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the way to do it. Because just playing through, if you have a 3-minute track, playing through a guitar, a bass, and just having a drum loop there, it's gonna take me 15 minutes to put that in a DAW. And if I have a template that pretty much has all the settings in the right places to get the correct volume levels, then it's what I can do 3 songs in an hour.
Yeah.
And the batching thing has worked really well. Just open 14 tabs and just, yeah. I've like one Thursday this month I did write 14 songs. They are like 2-minute songs, but most of them will work for the game. I have no doubts about that.
And that's the other thing that's a great motivator, is that you know that you have a reason for doing these songs that is in addition to just writing them for form. You know, they have utility. They are going to be put to use.
Yeah, that's true. That's something to think about. Like, I should have a motivation, even if it's just I'm gonna make an album with 14 tracks, and I'm gonna select it from these 140 tracks.
Yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting point that I don't know if we sort of address it very much. Is that this is February album writing month. This is the month of February in which you write an album. So, I mean, folks out there in Chatland watching this, how many of you are actually going to polish up the songs that you've written and pick an album's worth of them? I mean, mechanical royalties being what they are these days. An album is 10 songs, and doing more than 10 songs is actually shooting yourself in your foot, because you don't get mechanical reproduction rights for anything above 10, if I remember correctly when I was reading up about this. But how many of you are going to polish those songs and mix and master them, or even get somebody else to master it, or one of these online mastering services where you literally throw the WAV file at you and it spits it back with everything equalized and mixed and mastered to minus 14 loudness units full scale or whatever your mastering thing is. How many of you are going to actually put an album on Bandcamp or CD Baby or any of the other music services that are out there? How many of you are actually going to say, this is the album that I wrote for February, and make it an actual real proper? Not that FAWM is not proper, but giving the FAWM album a life outside FAWM. How many of you are actually going to do that?
I found the polling functionality of YouTube chat, and I know made a poll for this very question. Are you going to release the album that you wrote this FAWM? And please answer this poll, because Chris wants to know. No, I want to know.
Yeah.
Oh, we got 75% said yes.
That's
Four
interesting.
votes.
Nadine quite rightly says, yeah, I will, but it takes more time than March. Robbie says, no, I might.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, time constraints. You don't have to work to a timescale for doing this. And yes, you get it right. But equally, that then can be, well, it's not entirely mixed yet. And there comes the point where you have to say, yeah, that's done.
I actually think
And
that
that is such an important step of being a songwriter, of going, yeah, that's done. That's now being let out into the big world.
for sure. But I also think that writing an album is like 10% of the work. And if you want to actually release that, then you have to do the rest of the 90% of the work, and it's a lot of work. But
Yeah, absolutely.
if you can't do it, if you want to do it, just join the what do we call it? Album Workshop Discord server, and
Yeah. Do you want to pop the link up again?
let's see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Yep. Here's the
Because,
link to the Discord server.
One thing that I've
Oh,
learned
that's not good.
only in the last few years about stuff that I've done for FAWM and elsewhere is just how important it is to go back and edit it. Of if you have an idea of a much better pre-chorus line, then go back and change it.
Yes.
Nobody's going to judge you. Nobody's going to
Absolutely.
judge you for not getting it perfect first time.
No.
And
It's completely like absolutely don't think of your songs as like this needs to be perfect when I write it. No, nobody does that. When I paint a picture, I first do a sketch, and then the sketch tells me, well, what things are going to work in the proper version. What am I going to change? Is this going to be good? Is this going to be good? And then I change everything to match the final version. If I write a book during NaNoWriMo, the first sketch is not going to be the one that's going to get covers put to it and sent out to the world.
absolutely.
And with music, these are sketches. These are the thing that you do, that you write, that is going to tell you what you need to change for the final version. You keep listening to it, and then you go like, this would be better if I changed this around, and this would be better if I took the bridge out of this part, and this build-up would be better if I added a sound of a jet engine underneath it, and I don't know, stuff like that. You just listen to it and listen to how the song could be better. Just keep asking yourself, how could this be better? And keep working on it. Because the initial step, just getting something out in the world, just making the initial demo version, that is just a start. That is just to have something that you can work on.
And this is how the pros do it. Leonard Cohen wrote, I believe, in excess of 70 different verses for the single song Hallelujah. He just kept on writing verses for it, and then picked the best ones.
Yeah.
And going back to Steely Dan, I came across a obscure CD in the bargain bin at FOP back in the day when FOP was a record store in Bristol, called Becker and Fagan, The Collection. And I don't know whether this is an official release or not, but it is effectively demo tapes that Walter Becker and Donald Fagen had made of songs that became Steely Dan songs. And you can kind of hear the genes of those Dan songs in the versions on this CD, but they are just so different and so much more rough and unpolished. And yet there's the promise there, but it hasn't entirely delivered. It's a really interesting, weird CD and an insight into. It's almost like reading an author's first draft, which you kind of don't want to do.
Yeah. And like,
because a lot of the magic is missing.
I recently asked for collaborations, or no, not collaboration, commissions for graphics work on the forum, and T.C. Eliot actually commissioned a picture from me, and I made a...
I saw it. You did an excellent job of that.
Oh, thank
I
you.
really liked that.
But the thing is...
Bit disturbing, but really liked it.
The thing is, nobody really sees the sketches, and the thing is, when I make the initial sketch, it's gonna look horrible. But the idea is not to make the sketch look as polished as possible. It's to put things somewhere so that you see, is this gonna work? If I now polish this, is this gonna look good as an end result? You're just gonna have to use your imagination and see that sketch as a finished piece.
Yeah. It's why directors use pre-visualization, and they'll do little wireframe models of sets in movies and then move the camera through these little wireframe models. If you watch any of the Marvel movies, the extras on the Blu-rays will include some of these previs scenes, and they are, just a computer. They don't even animate it. It is literally the Hulk just moving about like this.
Yeah.
And his arms don't move, but it conveys his presence on the screen and where he's going to be in relation to the camera, in relation to the monster and the collapsing buildings and everything else.
Yeah, because when you look at that scene through the screen, you're going to notice that, oh, he's going to be there, so we're not going to see that thing that we need to see in the background. Well, he's going to be there. Well, it's going to add a weird contrast between this building here, so we need to move the building, or we need to move this thing, or we need to add smoke, or we need to add lights. And that's...
Notice the Marvel level of budget expenditure here. We need to move the building.
Yeah, someone just render the building there. Just move it.
Just have that building moved.
But that's what you do.
Downtown New York, who's going to notice?
That's what you do with music. You make it. You write your thing for FAWM, and then you look at it, like looking at your music through a screen, and it's going like, well, that verse has a weird contrast between the chorus. Let's move the chorus a little bit here. Let's change the key a little bit here. Let's add a little thing there. Let's up the energy a little bit. Let's change the drum beat. Let's change the guitar comp rhythm things. I don't know.
Yeah, vamping, riff, ostinatos, whatever.
Right. Just listen to your stuff.
Yeah, I have got 4 or 5 songs that I've written during February Album Writing Month where I'm more or less happy with the verse and the pre-chorus, but then it all goes to pieces on the chorus. So I know I have to come up with a better chorus for those songs, because the choruses that I've got on those demos, if I listen to them, I go, no, it's not working. That's not doing it for me.
Just laughing because it happens so many times to me. And I write songs for FAWM that I absolutely hate, but I don't mind, because I can then take that song and listen to it and go like, well, if I were to like this song, how would that happen? How would I make this song be something that I would want to listen to? And immediately I start getting ideas like, oh, if I change this, and that sounds so stupid, maybe that needs to go, and put something else in instead.
And every time you do that, you're learning. You're learning what works and what not to do next time. And learning what not to do next time is a hugely important bit of becoming an expert in anything, of becoming an accomplished practitioner. If you don't fail at what you're trying to do on a regular basis, you aren't going to get much better than you already are.
Yeah. And with the album workshop, a lot of people in the forum thread were talking about, like, they want to take the songs from this FAWM and start making something out of these, like the coming March. But I think that's it's problematic. I think what you need to do is you need to have some distance to your work. When you've written something, you have an emotional connection to it, and you need to forget that connection. Just put it in the drawer and come back in 3 months and then listen to it, and you have forgotten what you wrote, and it's just there listening to it as if it was somebody else's music, and you go like, that's pretty cool, but if it was like this, that would be better. But if you have that emotional connection to it, if you're feeling like, well, I just wrote this and it's really good, then you're not going to be able to have that objectivity to make those changes. So it's a good idea to put some space between the process.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. Absolutely.
So what I'm going to do, I'm trying to find songs from last FAWM and last 5090 and maybe work on those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, good idea.
Well, I think this turned out to be a pretty good episode after all.
Oh, crikey, it's 8:45.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did that go?
Should we go?
I guess we should. I mean, we still have lovely people in the chat. So thank you for sticking with us.
Thank you very much
this evening.
Yeah, it was a special show. It's like almost 2 hours. Yeah.
Wow.
And we'll be back not tomorrow, but Wednesday for the after FAWM extravaganza.
We do indeed. Wednesday, the 2nd of March.
2nd of March, with 2 guests.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
You're
You're going to love it.
Yeah. All right. So for the last song today, we have something by Carpelium, or is it Carpelium? Carpelium. What do you think? Let's go with Carpelium. And this one is called I Don't Think I'm Ready. So until Wednesday, write some songs, people.